What's up, family? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome to Soul Family Oracle, where I deliver messages from the divine. And if you're returning, thank you so much as always. I really appreciate your time and your energy. Now, today's message is not going to be, it's not exactly a download, but it's more of like insights that I'm being asked to share, because I feel like there might be somebody that needs to hear this, or somebody that might need to know how to use this, how to do this, right? And this message has to do with alchemy, has to do with alchemizing your life. And right now, I'm literally like walking in the rain. I have an umbrella, but like I'm walking in the rain, and it's not raining very heavily, it's just drizzling. And when I felt the need to do this recording, I was literally just thinking about the rain drizzling and just like having to like slowly walk through it, to get to where I'm going, to go to my destination, and not really worrying about the fact that, oh, is it cold, or is it going to rain heavier? Because it felt to me like alchemy, like it felt to me like magic, like this whole experience of being in the drizzling rain instead of being inside, where it would be considered warm and dry, felt like a process of alchemy to me. And this is what brought me to the need to share this message, because I was thinking about the phrase alchemize your life, right? And I know there's one of the decks I have that has that phrase on it, alchemize your life. And I was thinking about how there's so much that we can do to alchemize our life on a daily basis, right? And there's so much that is around us every day that is very much connected to spirit and has a spiritual form that is like literally like being transmuted every single second, every single minute, right? And I feel like for a lot of people, the idea or the intention to alchemize their life and to live a life that I guess is filled with the transmutation of energies in whatever sense or whatever form it might be, is something that even though they might understand as spiritualists or as enlightened or awakened people, I feel like for a lot of people it's still something that we might be trying to like figure out how to actually do, right? So first of all, what is alchemizing your life, right? When we speak of like alchemizing your life, for me personally, I think alchemizing your life to me means basically like making every moment in your life a form of transmutation, a form of manifestation, right? A form of transcendence, where you were moving one thing from one place energetically to achieve a certain outcome, right? So basically, in some sense, it purely is magic, right? But in terms of alchemy, I like to say, is like a higher form of magic, whereby with magic you need certain things, like maybe with magic you need some tools, you need some materials and stuff like that to bring about a certain outcome. Alchemy, when it comes to alchemy is like basically transmuting from nothing. I feel like when it comes to alchemy, or when we speak of alchemy basically involves making that happen, or making that manifestation happen without exactly having the required resources or the required tools to make it happen. Okay, so for instance, in a case where you would need, like, for instance, you're doing, 1 second, guys. Hi, good day. Sorry, I just had somebody passing by. So, because I'm literally standing in the middle of the street. Well, not in the middle of the street, but like I'm walking in the street. So, like, in the sense where when it comes to magic, like I was saying, like certain tools or resources might be required in order to bring about what you're trying to achieve. With alchemy, I feel it's like purely the transmutation of energy, in the sense where it's like energy can be nothing. The energy can be nothing. It's like the transmutation in I don't even know how to explain. Like, it's like, to me, it means like creating something out of nothing. Whereas when it comes to magic, I believe is like, kind of like using the various elements as tools in order to bring about a certain manifestation. Now, when I explain it like this, then I have to add the fact that everything has a form to it that allows alchemy to take place. Everything has a form to it that allows every alchemy to take place. Why? Because everything has a spiritual aspect to it. Everything has an energetic aspect to it. And so when you tap into that energetic aspect or that spiritual aspect, that is what allows you to alchemize your life without needing certain tools or whatever to do it, right? Now, let me explain further. So when I say like certain things or everything has an energy or spirit attached to it, right? And you can use that to alchemize your life literally by living in that knowing, right? And not necessarily like doing certain practices and all those things, right? I'll give you an example. One of the things that, for instance, I believe if many people would actually try, would cause very, very, very huge shifts in their life is working according to the days of the week, working according to the energies of the days of the week, right? So for instance, if you know what I'm talking about, you know that the days of the week have specific energies that they hold. Each day of the week has a specific energy that they emit on that day, right? So Monday, for instance, Monday is connected to the moon. Monday is a day of rest, basically. Actually, Monday is a day of rest, is the day of reflection. Monday is actually in metaphysics. Monday is not the day of rest, like Sunday is not a day of rest like how we see it, from the Bible. In metaphysics, when you explain or when you look into the various energies attached to the various days, Monday is the day that is connected to the moon. Monday is a good day for releasing, for reflecting, for healing, for relaxing, for resting. Okay, Tuesday is connected to Mars, right? Tuesday has a very fiery energy. Tuesday has a very action-oriented energy. It's very proactive. Wednesday is connected to Mercury. Mercury has to do with communication, has to do with speech. So on Wednesdays are very good for communication. Wednesdays are good for speeches. Wednesdays are good for meetings and stuff like that. And then Thursday is connected to Jupiter, has to do with expansion, abundance, money, productivity. So on Thursdays are good for things that have to do with money, things that have to do with abundance, selling, finding and creating opportunities, expansion, right? Friday is connected to Venus. Venus has to do with beauty and love and fun and entertainment, right? And that is why a lot of people for Friday, like we say, thank God it's Friday. For Friday, the energy feels like you want to go out, maybe you want to have some fun, you want to meet friends. It's an energy in the ethers. It's not exactly like an individual thing, right? And so like Fridays are good for communions and coming together, celebrations and stuff like that, okay. And then Saturday is connected to Saturn, right? Saturday holds a much heavier energy or frequency because Saturday is a day for cleaning out, for releasing, for breaking things, for releasing things in the sense of like heavy spiritual energy. So like, for instance, if you want to do cleansing work, if you want to do banishing work, if you want to do protection work, Saturday is a perfect day for it. Saturday is just like with Saturn, is a day of it's a good day to bring things together to a final close, right? And so for a lot of people will do their laundry on Saturday, a lot of people will clean their houses on Saturday, or a lot of people will do stuff that involves cleaning out or purging and releasing and stuff like that on Saturday because the energy calls for it. So naturally, if you're tapped into nature, you will feel the sense to do those things on those days, right? And then we have Sunday. Sunday is connected to the sun. Manifestation, power, right? Opening yourself up to a higher source. And that's one of the reasons why Christians chose Sunday to be the day to congregate and to worship. Sunday holds very high manifestation energy. And so, for instance, when you're trying to manifest something, one of the days that you can choose to do that, especially when you're doing something that involves magic, is Sunday, right? So you see on Sundays are good for like family gatherings. Sundays are good for like bringing people together to kind of like celebrate important things, like celebrate specific things like birthdays and reunions, unlike Friday, where Friday is more like a day of entertainment and fun, right? So now when you breaking these down is just to like help you understand what I mean by like how these things have like a form that is connected to spirituality, or have a spiritual form. You understand? Okay, so now when you know this, like for instance, you know the different days and what they represent, or the energy that they hold and the planets they are connected to, you can now alchemize your life by living according to the energies of those various days, right? So like for instance, on Mondays, I don't work on Mondays. On Mondays, I'm resting. On Mondays, I'm reflecting. On Mondays, I'm, going to the beach. I'm connecting to the moon energy. I'm allowing myself to like just kind of like soften into my feminine energy and just like do things that, just will allow me to rest and be at ease, right? So because that's the moon energy, right? On Thursdays, I'm upping my abundance manifestation. On Thursdays, I'm doing my road opening work. I'm doing my productivity things. I'm, drawing out the plans that is going to help me to, reach more opportunities, or basically open up more opportunities for me, right? So this is just to say how, for me personally, I use the days in the week and the energies attached to them to alchemize my life, right? And that's one way of alchemizing your life. For instance, basically drawing out, I don't want to say your plan or life, according to the natural cycles of the planet, because the one thing that is 100% sure, right, on this planet is nature. Right. And even though we don't understand nature 100%, it's the one thing that you can say is for sure. Like nature is the one thing that keeps expanding, but keeps expanding, but in a spiritual order, in a spiritual way. Right. And even though nature is very much a physical thing, it is one of the most spiritual elements. Right? And when it comes into nature, even though plants and herbs and all those things are classified as part of earth element, they individually hold different elements. Like you can have herbs that are connected to air energy. You can have herbs that are connected to fire, like chamomile. You can have herbs that are connected to water, like eucalyptus, right? So when it comes to nature holds a lot of energy, a lot of spiritual essence that translate into the physical. So speaking about nature, okay, I literally got thrown off where I was before, but yeah. So like for instance, speaking of nature, how do you alchemize your life using nature? Or like how do you alchemize your life using, like, let's say plants, right? So for instance, working with the various plants according to the energies that they hold, right? Like bay leaves for money. On Thursdays, you're doing money manifestation, or you're doing abundance manifestation, and you're using your bay leaves, or you're using your chamomile, right? On Mondays, you're doing your releasing and your resetting, and then you're using lavender, right? And then let's say on Saturdays, you're doing your protection work, you're doing your banishing work, you're doing your purging work, and you're using like cloves, you're using rosemary, you're using cayenne pepper, you're using black pepper. You understand? Let's say on what other day should we do? Like Sunday. Today is Sunday. On Sunday, you're doing your manifestation work and you're tapping into that high sun energy, and you're using like something just came in my mind and I almost like got distracted. Okay, so Sunday, you're doing that manifestation work and you're using your calendula and you're using your, even chamomile also, right? So basically, alchemizing your life involves using the various elements in nature and using the various things, the energetic attachment to the various things to better your life, or basically to kind of like order your life, right? I'll give you another example with numbers, right? So how I alchemize my life using numbers is by replacing certain specific numbers that I use every day or I use on the daily into certain sequences that have specific meanings to me, right? So for instance, when I do references for money transfers, I use 888 or 8888, right? And when I do this, as I'm typing in the reference, I say something like money flows to me easily and abundantly. Money flows to me with ease as I send that money out of my account, right? So you will see from every money that I have, every money transaction I have done through my bank, the reference numbers have always been 888. Okay, and then when I'm trying to do something where, let's say, like it's some kind of like investment, or I'm trying to, like, let's say, stock my store, okay, what I would do is I will use numbers like 777. That's the number of luck. That's the number of like opening ways, right? So in a way, what I'm trying to say is, as I'm spending this money, or as I'm using this money to purchase these goods, I am expecting to receive it in abundance, to receive it in multiplication, right? And then when I'm sending money out, I'm basically saying that as I am sending this money out, I send it out knowing that I will receive it back 100-fold. I send it out knowing that it is money that will come back to me. It is not money that I am losing, right? And I swear to you guys, since I've been doing these things, you're lucky I'm on the phone. Since I've been doing these things, especially with the money and the numbers, I've seen a lot of changes, and literally a lot of changes in my finances, a lot of changes in my finances. And I swear to you guys, these things work. They work, right? So another thing, like for instance, is the beginning of my day, right? The beginning of my day. So I used to respond to good morning, for instance, like, I used to respond to good morning, if somebody was greeting, and I used to greet in good morning also. Okay. And then when I went through my awakening and I started to understand words more, and I started to basically look more at what I was saying and how I was saying it, I started to want to alchemize my life through words also, right? And so, for instance, I stopped using good morning. I stopped responding to good morning, and I stopped using good morning. Like when people would greet me saying good morning, I'll just say politely oh, I don't respond to that, but blessed rising or good day to you, and some people would be like, okay. And some would also be what's the reason behind you not, wanting to respond to good morning or use good morning? And then it was from my understanding of the fact that the word morning doesn't sound right to me, right? And it just felt like waking up every day to start a day of mourning, basically to grieve your death. And it's like every day we die to be put to rest, only to come back and relive that same reality, right? So it just didn't sit well with me anymore, using the word morning. And so I stopped using it, right? And then, Auntie, hello, I'm coming. I'm on the phone. I'll be right back. Yeah, that was my auntie. Yeah, so it's just those little changes, with how I started my day, and the first things that were coming out of my mouth to people, and what I was responding to changed a lot for me, right? And even though I wouldn't say it changed in a way where it was I was feeling like I was more alive or whatever, but in a way it did, because from then on I started to feel like I was more eager to greet, not to greet, but to respond. I was more excited to express that greeting in the morning, because it didn't have to do with those words that I didn't want to relate to, you understand? So it was now within my hi, hello, good day. So it was now within my spirit, I was feeling much more comfortable, because the words that were coming to me I could relate to, because I myself was intentionally choosing the words that I wanted to relate to, and the words that I wanted to also kind of relate back to people. I've been walking the whole time. It's a bit of a long walk, but good. So another thing also that I personally do to alchemize my life is my communication, my communication with self. Okay, I started to communicate with myself kind of like on a third party, is it third party, how do I say, like a third party, right? So instead of like referring to myself as, just me, I started to connect more with my spirit, right? And so I would refer to myself, but also refer to my spirit. So for instance, I don't know how to explain, but I'll give you an example, right? So for instance, instead of saying like, oh, I am fine, I would say something like, we are fine, right? Or like, instead of saying something like, I've got this, I'll say like, we've got this, right? And then it was me trying to, then in the beginning, it was just me trying to, connect more with my spirit and become more bonded with my spirit in a way where I was addressing myself, or I was being addressed not just as me, the physical person, but as an embodiment of the spirit that lives within me also. And guys, this is one of the things that I feel like really like took my relationship with my spirit to a whole nother level. It took my relationship with my spirit to a whole nother level because I was no more identifying myself as an individual. I was no more identifying myself as like an individual. I mean, of course, I still identify as an individual, don't get me wrong. But it's like in the terms of like identifying myself as a person on this spiritual plane, I was no more seeing myself as just me, like it's me, and as if like my spirit is like something else or something outside of me. I started to really feel more and more that I was connected to my spirit, that me and my spirit were one. Basically, you understand that it wasn't just about like, the fact that I have a spirit. It's like we are one. I am just like the vessel that is holding the spirit, right? But it's like we're one. And I'm getting, this is not supposed to be a channeling, but I'm getting the vision of the genie and the what's it called? In the thingy, in the genie thing where you have to, they rub it and then the genie comes out, right? So it's like the genie and the lamp. Thank you, spirit. The genie and the lamp. Okay, the genie and the lamp might seem like two different things, but the genie and the lamp are one, right? The genie is only where the lamp has been placed, right? The lamp is only where the genie is, which basically means that they are one. But you wouldn't address it as one thing on its own, right? You would see it as the genie as one thing and the lamp as one thing. So something of the sort, you understand? But then the genie can be separated from the lamp, right? But anyway, I don't want to go too deep, otherwise I'll miss the point, and I'm already missing the point. But yeah, let's leave it right there. Okay, guys. So I really don't know why I felt the need to like do this recording, because again, this is not me channeling. This is not coming from a download. Like, I just really felt the need to explain to some of us the need to alchemize our lives, because like there's a lot that we can do on a daily to alchemize our life, right? And another thing also that I wanted to add before I forget was my food and my, okay, so I'll give you two. First of all, let's talk about my food, or like, my intake, what I take in, right? I started to speak to my water, right? Started to basically say manifestations through my food, right? So for instance, I would pray over the water and then leave the water there to like sit for a while, or I'll just say a prayer on it before I drink it. So instead of like just like praying like, God bless this food or something like that, with the water, I would literally speak the affirmation on it, right? So for instance, I would speak affirmations like, I bless this water to bring vitality into my body. I bless this water to cleanse me of all negative energies that have remained within me. I bless this water to rinse me, cleanse my mind, body, and spirit, and to rejuvenate my body before I drink it, right? And then there was a time when it was with crystals. I would charge my water with crystals, and so I was drinking crystal charged water instead of just regular water. And it's so simple to do, right? You just wash your crystals, you cleanse them, and then you place them in a jar of water, right? And this makes a whole lot of difference. Okay. And then the other thing with water was also my shower, right? And this I've been doing for quite a while now. It's like since I started, I haven't been able to stop. And the only times I don't do this is like when I'm in like a space where like, you know, I've been in a space where it's like maybe the shower, it's not like an actual shower, and then like I have to use like a tub, and then it's a bit this thing because I don't like to sit in a tub, you know. But yeah, so with my bathing water, what I would do is like anytime I go under the shower, I would pray and ask for the energy of water, for the spirit of water to use this time to basically cleanse me. And so I would say like a simple prayer like, I'm so grateful for the shower. I'm so grateful for the cleansing that this water brings to me. And as I cleanse with this water, I humbly call on you, the spirit of water, to cleanse me, wash my mind, body, and spirit, to release me of all negative energies that I have picked up on my body by myself or through others. And I say the prayer, and you know, after I'm done showering, I just let the water run over, and then I give thanks for the cleansing that I'm receiving. Right now, these things, there are a few other things that I do to alchemize my life, and some of them, even though I haven't done like for the whole period, because I change sometimes, right? Sometimes I do it for a while and then I stop, and then I try something else. So like I implement like a new plan or like a new routine, right? Like for instance, one of those things would be my morning routine with honey and cayenne pepper, right? So before it was honey and cayenne pepper, it was honey and ginger powder, and then at some point it was honey and cayenne pepper, right? So it basically differs based on how I'm feeling also, or sometimes it's just because I feel like I want to change the particular food that I'm using with it, right? So like what I'll do with this is like first thing when I wake up, it would be the first thing I eat, right? I'll like some honey, like a teaspoon of honey with some cayenne pepper on it, and then I put it in my mouth and I speak affirmations of what I want to achieve within the day, or what I want to receive, or what I want to do within the day, or just speak positive affirmations over my day, and then I give thanks, and that's it, so these are some of the things, like just it's been a lot of different things. But these are some of the things that I have done to alchemize my life and still continue to do till today, and again, these things are how I have found, or these are the best ways that I have found to alchemize my life. But it doesn't mean that this is the best way for everybody. No, there are many ways in which you can form that connection to alchemize your life. It all depends on you. Right? And it might not even be anything similar to what I do, or anything similar to what anybody else does, but as long as it works for you and you can feel within your spirit that this is right for me or this is good for me, that's all that matters. So for whoever this message is for today, this is not exactly a download, but I feel like I've been feeling called to like just talk like this more, just like share certain things that are not really to do with downloads, and I feel like this is one of those. So for whoever this message is for, there's a need for you to alchemize your life. There's so many ways to bring more magic into your life, and you're being called to do that. Okay, and I'm at the point now where I have to leave. As always, thank you guys so much, and I love you. I feel so full of love and so full of light today. But in a very subtle way. I don't know how to explain. In a very subtle way, I woke up very early, and anyway, the rest doesn't matter. As always, listen with discernment, take only what resonates and leave what doesn't. And if the message resonates with you, I humbly urge you to like, share, subscribe, to help us reach even more of our soul tribe. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and have a blessed new week.